today we are doing my next makeup rewind. This month we're going to the 2000s. Said I've been to the year 2000. Wrong words, right decade. So this look was actually inspired by partly Paris Hilton, partly J-Lo. So what I discovered is that the 2000s had a lot of shimmery colors, which I sort of remember, and very tan skin. Everything wanted to be a little bit more sun-kissed. And we also got the super glossy lip going on. Thank you guys to everyone who voted on my Twitter poll for which decade I should do next. If you guys haven't followed me on Twitter already, go ahead and do that. I'll leave a link for that in the description down below. And if you guys want to see how I got this 2000s inspired makeup look, keep on watching. Let's go. Guys, alright, so I've already primed my eyes, so I'm going to go ahead and start on my eyebrows. So today I'm using the Anastasia Brow Wiz in the shade Medium Brown. I'm going to brush the hairs up and start right on them. So in the 2000s, the eyebrows weren't really on the bushy trend anymore. It was definitely all about thinner brows. So I'm going to draw on my eyebrows a little bit thinner than I normally do. Apparently in the 2000s, a lot of people actually just shaved their eyebrows off and then redrew them back on. I'm obviously not going to do that. We're not participating in that craziness today. We're just going to try to fake it a little bit. And then we're going to grab some Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Fair just to clean it up. And this is where we're really going to try to thin out those lines. Alright, and then moving on to eyes, we're going to grab the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette. Dipping into the shade Silk Cream for our first transition shade. We're going to take that on a Wet n Wild brush, which is a big, fluffy packing brush. Put that right into the crease. And then for a second set of transition shades, we're actually going to grab the shade Pooter and the shade Made for Each Other. And we're going to just kind of blend that into the crease a little bit lower just to give it a little bit more dimension. A lot of the reference pictures I was looking at don't really include crease shades, but I feel like I need it just to give my eyes a little bit more shape. Everything in the 2000s was really, really frosty, really pastel. In a lot of cases, the makeup they would use would just end up washing people out. So then I'm going to do some backwards blending with Silk Cream and then head right into the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette. So the first shade that we're laying down is the shade Verve from this palette. It's a bright silvery shade, very shimmery, very metallic. So we're going to kind of swipe this onto the lids more than packing it just to kind of get that first shade down. And then to intensify that silver shade, we're going into the Anastasia Beverly Hills Moonchild Glow Kit palette and grabbing the shade Star, which is a holographic silver shade. And this is what we're going to pack on top of the lid. I'm actually not wetting the brush here. You don't really need to for these two shades put together. And at the same time, we're also going to carve out our eyelid, kind of giving it a cut crease effect, but it's not going to be super cut. It's like a soft cut crease, I would call it. You can see just how frosty that Star shade really makes it. And then going over the edges with no added product on a fluffy brush, and then grabbing the shade Pistol from the Naked 2 palette and putting it on the outer corner just to give it a little bit more dimension. Like I said, they didn't really add a lot of dimension to their eye looks from the reference pictures I saw. It was more about just getting the frost on there. However, to modernize it, we are going to add dimension because I need it. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I need it. And then just blending the edges a little bit more. Alright, so now that the eyes are done, I'm going to go ahead and put on my foundation just to give myself a clean base. So here is that base. And then we're going to go a little bit ham with the bronzer today. You can tell I'm a little bit scared. Grabbing the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, we're going to put this pretty much all over our face. People fake baked all the time back then. Being as tan as you can be was the trend. So I'm going to put this where I normally put it on my cheekbones, but then I'm actually going to bring it up onto the top of my cheekbones as well. I specifically remember 17 magazine, year after year after year, telling me to put my bronzer anywhere the sun would hit, so like on the top of my cheekbones, on the tops of my forehead, on my chin, and on my nose. Ooh, I hate it. I hate it so much. But I remember them telling me to do that, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to also kind of contour my nose a little bit with the bronzer. And then even though contouring wasn't super popular back then, we're going to grab the Urban Decay Shapeshifter palette. We're going to grab that contour shade just to contour a little bit. Like I said, to modernize this look, I am going to add a little bit more dimension to my face. And that's what the contour is doing here. And then I'm just going to lightly clean it up a little bit with some setting powder and my Real Techniques blending sponge. And then because the reference pictures I saw didn't have bright blushes, I'm going to grab the Color Icon blush by Wet n Wild in the shade Princess Daiquiris, which is a light pink peachy type blush. I'm going to just kind of pop this onto the apples on my cheeks, and then I'm going to wipe away that bake. So I'm going to go ahead and hit up my lower lash line with some Silk Cream. And then to highlight my face, we're going back into the Moonchild palette and grabbing the shade Blue Ice. So I'm going to put that blue ice right on the inner corners of my eyes. I do remember people talking about the inner corner highlights a lot, so I'm going to put that there just to kind of open the eyes a little bit more. And I'm going to put it on my brow bone. So in the reference picture of JLo that I have, her brow bone looks almost white, like a white shimmer. So that's why I'm putting the blue ice there, just to kind of make it super frosty, super bright highlight. And I'm highlighting my Cupid's bow with that as well, and the bridge of my nose, and my cheekbones. So highlighting and contouring, like I said, wasn't really popular back then. It wasn't a trend yet, but we are modernizing it a little bit, and the frostiness was a trend, so I figure if I put on some cheek frost, it's probably not going to be too off early millennium. And then grabbing my e.l.f. highlight, I'll leave it in the description box down below, but I'm grabbing the e.l.f. highlighter and putting it on the tip of my nose and on the very, very tops of my cheekbones just to give me a little bit more of a high shine. And then grabbing my NYX Lip Lingerie in the shade Lace Detail, I'm going to go ahead and put that all over my lips. And then we're going to make it a little bit more frosty. So I'm grabbing the shade Pink Heart from the Moonchild Glow Kit, tapping that right on top with my finger, while the lipstick is still wet so that it has something to stick to. This is going to make it a little bit more shimmery, a little bit more metallic. And then to make it even more intense and more frosty, we're going back in with that e.l.f. highlighter, and we're putting that right on my lips, right in the center, focusing it. But it's pretty much going to go all over my lips, who am I kidding? So that's really what's going to give it that frosty effect. I remember very frosty lip glosses, but since I don't have a lip gloss, because if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I hate lip glosses, I'm going to grab my Rose Lollipop Lip Balm from Lush Cosmetics, kind of tap that right onto the center of my lips. I'm not putting it all over just because I hate the feeling. And then to brighten up my eyes a little bit more, we're grabbing my NYX liner in the shade White and putting that right into my waterline. And then to set my face, I'm grabbing my NYX Dewy Finish Setting Spray, putting that all over my face, and then curling my lashes. And then a lot of the reference pictures that I found of different celebrities, a lot of them weren't wearing false lashes to these events. So I'm just going to assume that it wasn't a trend back then, really. So I'm grabbing my NYX Double Stacked Mascara. This is the closest mascara that makes my eyes look like actual falsies. I have a love-hate relationship with this stuff. So you're supposed to put on the black base first, as you see me doing here. I'm going to do one eye at a time because I can't do it all at once. And then while the mascara is still wet, you grab the white fibers. They're legitimate fibers, and you put that over the black, and it's supposed to adhere to the black. So the reason why I dislike this so much is because the white fibers get everywhere. It gets into your eyes, it gets onto your face, it's so uncomfortable. And then you top it off with the black mascara once again. I do like the black mascara though, and I like it on its own. I kind of wish that they would sell this mascara, this formula, without the white fibers, because I would buy it. To finish off this look, I'm going to go ahead and do my lower lash line with the Pixi by Petra Lower Lash Mascara, just to give me a little bit more definition. And then I'm going to set my eyebrows with the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. So this is the final look. To me, this is very Zenon meets Paris Hilton. I know I said I was inspired by JLo, but there's so much frost and like light colors. Having flashbacks, it's kind of terrifying. If you guys like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And if you guys are enjoying the Makeup Rewind series, give me a subscribe so you can see when the next Makeup Rewind series comes out. I do them monthly. Let me know what decade you want to look at in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to include that in my Twitter poll for the next round. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys! Just don't feel like me. I feel like I look like I'm in high school again. Jesus.